This Saturday is World AIDS Day, and an exhibition about to open in Sydney hopes to put a human face on the disease. The exhibition features the work of 9 photographers who travelled to AIDS-affected communities in countries like Papua New Guinea, Vietnam and India. Our reporter Claire Aird is at the Powerhouse Museum to give us a look at some of their pieces. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, Michael. Well, there are over 250 faces of people living with HIV/AIDS in this room. This exhibition, Access to Life, takes a compassionate look at people who have received antiretroviral treatment, which wouldn't have been available to them just a decade ago, and it's a life-saving treatment. Now, this exhibition has been seen by millions of people across the globe, but here in Sydney, it's the first time that part of the exhibition, a new series on Papua New Guinea, will be shown. Chris Steele-Perkins is the photographer who travelled to PNG for these images. Chris, what made you interested to go and meet these people who are living with HIV/AIDS?
Well, this was part of the idea, was to bring the regional element to the exhibition as Australia's close neighbour. And obviously there's a serious problem with HIV in Papua New Guinea, and the treatment that's being brought to these people is working for a lot of them.
These pictures are quite intimate. You've really gone into these people's lives. Was that difficult, or what did you learn from the experience?
Well, I was surprised, to be honest, how open people were and how willing, especially given the amount of prejudice that they get directed at them as sufferers of HIV, to actually speak openly and honestly and sometimes very emotionally about their experiences. We've been able to translate that into the exhibition.
Because there's a real stigma in PNG, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. It's very often in a number of cases here in this exhibition, we've got people who have been rejected by their family and rejected by their community. But at the other end of the spectrum, it's great to see people like with Norman, as we talked about before, who is supported by his family, his brothers helping him to do his exercises so that he can help recover, and there are other people, it's not just, being thrown out of your community.
So what do you hope that this exhibition will bring to Australia?
Well, I hope generally a greater awareness of this problem, and that it's right on your doorstep as well. It's not sort of hidden away in some far distant land. I mean, obviously Australia itself has its own HIV problem, but when you've got somewhere like Papua New Guinea where transport is a problem, education, awareness of the issues and so on, it's a lot more difficult, but things are happening there, which is very positive.
Now, Access to Life has been made possible through the Global Fund to fight HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria. Simon Bland is the chair and he joins us in this exhibition. Simon, what progress has been made with HIV/AIDS so far?
Well, we're delighted to bring this Access to Life exhibition here to Sydney with the help of the Powerhouse Museum and AusAid and Oil Search, and it puts this human face on what was a terrible disease. The progress, first and foremost, is that treatment works. Being infected by HIV is no longer the inevitable death sentence it used to be. So if people can get onto this antiretroviral treatment, they can lead pretty normal lives. They can get married, they can have kids, they can have jobs, and that's a remarkable success. And so many of the stories that you see here demonstrate that, the fact that once they get access, their lives are transformed. It doesn't always end well. There are still many stories here that suggest that access was too late, they didn't respond, and they still lost their lives. So there's been great progress over the last decade, but still much more to do.
Simon, what things do need to be done from here on in?
So if we think over the last 10 years, we've now put around 8 million people onto antiretroviral treatment across the world. The Global Fund works in 151 countries working to fight these 3 diseases. And 10 years ago, if you'd said that, people would have laughed and said that's not possible. So the price of this treatment has fallen from around $10,000 per case per year to less than $100. So that's remarkable. So 8 million people on treatment, but we need to put another 7 million people on treatment. They still don't have it. So we need to continue to work hard, raise more money, and get these drugs out to the people that really need it.
Now, this exhibition, Access to Life, coincides with 30 years since the first case of HIV was reported in Australia, and there is a second exhibition which talks about the ad campaign and the work that is still to be done. Now, this exhibition opens today and it runs until June next year, Michael.
Claire Aird in Sydney, thank you very much. Let's go to